What's good, y'all? We got episode 29. Let's Be Real podcast, man. 2 days away from the Super Bowl, so you know we're going to get into that. Obviously, today, man, look, we're going to get into the Super Bowl. We're going to get into some NBA trade grades. Definitely touch on those NFL awards that went out last night. But look, y'all, you know what it is. You know what I got. We got the wine first, and so something a little different today. This is actually from Housley as well. So if y'all been watching me, you know I like Housley wines. I've gotten a few of them, put a few up there. This is actually the Sonoma Late Harvest Sauvignon Blanc. So more of a dessert wine, very sweet. As you can see, like this is all I poured. Like I'm gonna just get like a nice little sip. It's not crazy sugary and sweet, but it's got a good little sweetness to it, and so nice for just kind of an after dinner, relaxing, chilling out. And so, like I said, man, look, we're gonna get to the Super Bowl. We're gonna get to the NFL awards. We're gonna try to keep this episode a little bit shorter, just because I just flew in and I'm flying out tomorrow, and so trying to just kind of do a little expedited one here. So we're going to start with just some NBA trade grades. Look, trade deadline was insane, went crazy. I'm not going to touch on everything and I'm not going to go too in depth. I'm going to just give some grades and what I see on a couple of the big trades that happened. And then next week, we'll do a more in depth dive in on as far as what we see as far as more of the trades and just a deeper dive on them. And so, look, man, we're going to start off. We talked about it last episode, but a little bit more has happened now. Lakers, man. And look, Lakers, you're getting an A plus. Anytime you land a top three at worst player in the NBA and you don't give up a top three player in the NBA, you are going to get an A. And so, Lakers, obviously, they land Luka, which is great for them, not only from just a win now standpoint, but even just from a future standpoint, moving forward, kind of face of the franchise standpoint. You land Luka, you get Cleaver with it, which I actually, look, I like Maxey on the team. I think, one, he's a guy who knows how to play with Luka. Two, he's kind of like, he gives you that kind of small four that you can kind of match with, who can shoot the outside shot. So like that. And then look, I said it last episode, this was the new thing that came through afterwards, but they needed a big. Wasn't the big, I don't think anybody had the big they ended up getting on the radar, but Mark Williams from Charlotte. Look, really 7-footer, good size, great athleticism, long, big wingspan. So not the greatest defender, but see what they can do with it. But what it is a guy who's a great lob threat. He is going to thrive playing alongside Reeves, LeBron, and Luka. And so, yeah, man, A plus for the Lakers. Crazy. I mean, the fact that they flipped 2 first rounders and 1 swap into Luka and Mark Williams, and then you get Kleba as well and Markieff Morris. Like, look, the A plus for them, like for sure. Next one, man. Look, Spurs. Spurs are gonna get an A. Look, you add De'Aaron Fox, and you're able to keep your first round pick this year, which is shaping up like it might be a good one. And you keep Castle, which great young player. So the fact that they're able to keep Castle, their first round pick, and get De'Aaron Fox, who look, De'Aaron Fox is a great player in the NBA. Going to work really well beside Wemby, I think. Only thing I don't love is just De'Aaron's just never really gotten the 3-point shot. I think, a 3-point shooter next to Wemby, definitely a better fit. But look, De'Aaron with the ball in his hands and running a pick and roll with Wemby, I mean, that combination is going to be killers. Look, Spurs get an A for, one, bringing in De'Aaron Fox, and then 2, just being able to keep young asset and Castle and their first round pick this year. Next one, man, Warriors. Look, I called this one recorded about 2 months ago. Jimmy Butler to the Warriors. And this one, man, I'm giving B minus C plus. To me, I don't know how much better the Warriors really got here. You have to give up Wiggins, who to me, I mean, fits better in the offense, better 3-point shooter, honestly, better, just to me, better score, period. Jimmy, I would say, is a better kind of end of game, get a bucket guy. But Wiggins throughout the course of a game, I would, for what they're going to be doing, I would take Wiggins. Fits better, shoots the three ball better. At this point in their careers, better defender on the wing. Um, yeah, I think for the Warriors, this was kind of, to me, what this looks like is this is a look, Steph, we're making win now moves for you, which is great and which they should do, but I don't know how much better they really get from this. They sign him to an extension that's going to bring him to 37. Yeah, to me it's not, again, it's not what I think they should have done there. And then lastly, man, we're going to go with the Mavs. Mavs, you get a D. And you're welcome for not making it an F, because it could have been an F. Look, anytime, and the reason I didn't give it an F and I gave it a D is you got Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, top 10 player in the league. To me, best defender in the league. At the very worst, top 2 to 3 defender in the league. So landing him saves what little bit of a grade that you got. Now, do I think that they're contenders like Charles Barkley's trying to push? No, I don't think so. Um, I think we've seen Anthony Davis as the number one on a team, and it didn't work. And we've seen Kyrie Irving as the number one scoring option on a team, and it didn't work. And so the only time we've seen those two guys work contender-wise has been with LeBron James at peak, much more peak powers than he is now, obviously. Near, like, I mean, LeBron in Cleveland with Kyrie, peak LeBron. LeBron in LA with Anthony Davis, just kind of turning that little ledge from peak LeBron. So I don't think, I mean, obviously their role players are good, but their role players are also, they fit for a Luka or a LeBron player. Like, they are spot up shooters. You now have one guy who every time down court can get his own shot, and a good shot, and that's Kyrie. And love Anthony Davis. Offensively, he's not that. He's great offensively, but he's not that. And you have nobody who's really a guy who's going to be looking to generate offense for others, which is what the Mavs need for every other player on the floor. No other player on the floor can generate their own shot. And so when you got a bunch of guys who are great shooters but can't generate their own shot, or great defenders but can't generate their own shot, it's in like Gafford and Lively, you need to have somebody who can, who is looking to generate shots for them. And that's not what Kyrie or Anthony Davis do. Now, do I think Anthony Davis is going to play great because he's going to be in his normal position at the 4 and Gafford and Lively are going to be down there at the 5 a lot of the time? I think it will help him. I also think it's going to, look, it's going to crowd that lane up for him, which is the benefit of him playing the 5. So there's going to be, give and take with that. I think he's still going to get numbers. I think Kyrie's still going to get numbers. I just don't think they have the personnel fits to win. And for you to get fleeced from the Lakers and Rob Pelinka is, if you're Nico, that's sad. Because Pelinka, in my opinion, up until this last week, Pelinka has been the worst GM in the NBA, or one of the worst GMs. And for you to, one, call him directly without calling anybody else and say, we want to give you Luka Doncic. And then two, get less for Luka in draft capital than Charlotte got for Mark Williams. Now, granted, you get Anthony Davis and Max Christie. Cool. But Mark Williams, they got Dalton Connect, the first, and a swap. And so, again, that's just a runaway now for worst GM in the league. So, anyways, man, look, that's going to be kind of the high level grading the few big ones that came through the pipeline. Like I said, next week, man, when I'm back in town, we're going to do a deeper dive. We're going to, especially Super Bowl over, we're going to get into basketball. And so I can't wait for that. I'm ready for that. We're going to get into basketball, and we also got track season coming. So y'all be ready for that. But look, we're going to kind of move into the NFL and the NFL awards. So obviously NFL awards went out last night, and we just going to look. We're going to start at the big controversy, man. Josh Allen winning MVP over Lamar Jackson. And so, man, look, we've if you've been paying attention to social media, hot button topic. And so lots to unpack here. So Josh Allen over Lamar, to me, it's what it is, man. It was going to be, for me, it was going to be hard for them to give Lamar another MVP, making him, he's already the only two-time MVP that's never won a Super Bowl. Now you're going to make him a three-time MVP who's never won a Super Bowl. That's tough as far as just historically. But I also just think if you're on the camp of Lamar Jackson should have won this year because his stats were so much better, I need you to make an argument then why he should have won it last year when his stats weren't the best. But he won MVP because of what he did with the lack of players around him and the team success, which is why Josh Allen won it this year. And so, to me right now, the Lamar Jackson fans, and look, like I said, I've said it before, I love Lamar. I don't trust him in the playoffs, but I do love Lamar. I mean, I think he will eventually win a Super Bowl. But the Lamar Jackson fans right now, I don't think they realize that in order to justify him winning MVP this year, they have to poke holes in the fact that he won MVP last year. Because there was guys who had much better statistical seasons than him. And right now, every Lamar Jackson fan I see on X or wherever is saying, look at his stats. They're so much better. And so, to me, I mean, I'm okay with Josh Allen winning it. I'm okay with Lamar getting the All-Pro because he was the best statistic-wise quarterback outside of Joe Burrow probably in the NFL. And Josh Allen, I'm okay with him winning the MVP because he was the most valuable player on his team. I think that the Ravens team, if you drop an average quarterback into there, the Ravens are still successful. I think the Bills, if you drop an average quarterback into there, they're bad. Like, I don't think they're terrible, but I think they're right around a 500 team. And so I'm okay with it. I think, like I said, I think it's kind of overblown as far as Lamar fans kind of going crazy over this. Because, like I said, I think it just completely makes it just the argument against for him this year is the same argument that would be against him for last year, which all the Ravens fans last year and Lamar fans last year were talking about. Well, look what he does for the team. It's all look at the team success. And so, yeah, that's how I feel about that one, man. And look, we're gonna move on. Saquon, Offensive Player of the Year. This one, I don't hate it. I love Saquon. Look, what he's done for my Eagles, I appreciate it. And he has turned the Eagles like completely around. Like I said, I think on the podcast last week, I called him if not, I said it to a couple people. He is the biggest Band-Aid right now in all of sports. In a way of when you look at a few of the games this year, I'm going to use the Rams game, for example, where the coaching and just plays that happened there at the end that looked like, oh, shoot, we're going to lose this game. Saquon busts out a 60-yard run. And that is something that he's done consistently all year this year. And so, look, for Sirianni, needs to thank Saquon for his job. But so I don't hate it. I still think personally, Offensive Player of the Year, I think if Saquon would have broken the rushing record, I would have given, I was on the record, I would have given MVP if he broke the record. But because he didn't break the record, got 2,000 yards, seen that before, 12 times or whatever it is, I would have gone with Jamar Chase still. Triple Crown winner, only been done three times, I think it was. So to me, for Jamar doing something that's been done so much less than 2,000 yards rushing, even without the team success, I don't really take that into account for Offensive Player of the Year. So that would have been mine. And look, we're going to go to Jamar's teammate, man, Joe Burrow winning comeback player of the year. I don't like it. I don't like it. I just don't think he's like a comeback player of the year kind of guy. Like he was hurt for half the year. Like to me, that's not what should encompass comeback player of the year. Like for me, I think Darnold. Darnold is a comeback player, a guy who gets drafted high, fall from grace, terrible seasons, goes, he's a backup, and then he gets on a team and has the season he had. I think what works against him is the last thing we saw from him was him choking in two playoff type environments back to back and costing his team, the season. But to me, that's more of what I kind of view as a comeback player. Like different too, as far as if Joe Burrow would have gone out with similar to earlier in his career, goes out with an ACL early in the year. Okay, I can get that for comeback player of the year. To me, it's just the timing of his injury, the injury itself doesn't really lend to comeback player. And so, that to me, that's just kind of it's the semantics of it, but that's how I feel about it. Kevin O'Connell, head coach, man, coach of the year. So again, don't mind it. Had an amazing year. To me, I probably would have gone with Andy Reid. But again, to me, Andy Reid, best record in the league the whole year on a team where if you go through the all pros and if you go through all these other things, if you listen to people on social media or on talk about them, the Chiefs aren't that talented. I have heard the Chiefs are less talented this year than last year, and last year was the worst team they've ever had since Mahomes got there. So I've heard credible people in the media talking about how bad this Chiefs team is, but they had the best record all year. So that must be coaching then. So to me, Andy Reid should win that, but I don't hate Kevin O'Connell winning it. And then lastly, Ben Johnson with the assistant of the year. I think, again, obviously well deserved. That's who I would have had as far as the winner there. But when and for those of y'all, let me explain as far as why I'm not going to touch on the rest. The rest of them, I just feel like we're pretty, like Pat Surtain, huge favorite, wins it. Jared Verse, defensive rookie, wins it. I think we all kind of figured that. I don't think there's a debate for that one. Jaden winning it for offensive rookie. Don't think there's a debate. The Ben Johnson one is where I'm going to go into this and we're going to flip it into the Super Bowl. So again, I think Ben Johnson should have won it. I think he was the best assistant, which has kind of been known all year to me. And it kind of been just what everybody's general thinking about it was Ben Johnson, best coordinator so this year. But, and this is why I'm going to flip it in the Super Bowl. So Spagnuolo for the Chiefs, DC, not getting a vote. Not a single vote. And so just kind of, this is kind of a kind of a running thing for the Chiefs now. And so as we push into the Super Bowl, when we looked at the awards, right? When you go through all the awards that happened last night, you'll find that there was one person on the Chiefs team that got votes in any category. So MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie, Defensive Rookie, Coach, Assistant, every major award. One person got votes, and it was Andy Reid. So Spags didn't get any votes. Chris Jones, McDuffie, whoever, enter whatever chief you want. Patrick Mahomes, one person got a vote, and it was Andy Reid. Conversely, the Eagles, Saquon got votes in two categories. Bond got a vote for Defensive Player of the Year. Coop and Mitchell both got Defensive Rookie votes. Vic Fangio got votes for coordinator. And so one comparatively to, what was that? Five, and six if you count Saquon twice. Comparatively to six people receiving votes for the Eagles. In almost every category. I think offensive rookie is the only one they didn't get somebody in. Yeah, offensive rookie. So, and head coach, but let's be real. So, anyways, my point here is that you have the Chiefs who, again, 3 All Pros, I think is what they had. Nobody gets votes for anything. And all we've done now is give them the nobody believes in us. Look how much more talent they have on that side, which I do. I think the Eagles are the most talented team in the league. But the Chiefs have talent and they are good. And all this is done. And look, if you've paid attention to the Chiefs, paid attention to the NFL, you know the Chiefs keep receipts. You know Mahomes keeps receipts. And if you don't think that they were watching those NFL awards, saying, "Oh, we didn't get anybody in there." Okay, cool. Oh, the Eagles did. Perfect. Okay. I got news for you. You're mistaken because that's exactly what they did. And so, again, I just think when you're the Chiefs, when you're the Patriots back in the day, when you're the Jordan and his Bulls, and we've seen every player do this, the major guys and teams do this, they look for a reason. They look for that bulletin board material. Sometimes they got to make it up. The Chiefs haven't had to make anything up this year. All they've heard is about how the refs helped them, bogus, how they're not talented at all. Last year's team was the worst one and was more talented. I don't agree. They don't get votes for any major award. No one's getting votes. Again, just feeding into the fact of the Chiefs giving them that, oh, okay, nobody believes in us mentality, which look, we saw the Patriots and Brady and Edelman and all them, they consistently, oh, nobody believes in us. Nobody believes in us. And so to me, it's just, I feel like the media narrative around the Chiefs and trying to downplay how good they've been all year is really what's going to feed them to want to come out and win the Super Bowl even more. And so, look, I want to talk about if the Chiefs do come out and win, what does that mean for the Chiefs? What does that mean for Mahomes? What does that mean for Andy Reid? And so, look, for the Chiefs, man, they come out and win. They solidify themselves as the greatest dynasty of all time in the NFL. You've done something no one's done before as far as a three-peat. You've already to this point gotten further than any other back-to-back champions got. Not only that, but in the last 7 years, Mahomes has been a starter, 5 Super Bowls, and then 2 conference championships. The worst you've ever done is overtime, I believe, in the conference championship game in 7 years. So if you cap that with a three-peat, yes, we are looking at the greatest dynasty ever in the NFL. For the Chiefs team itself, too, this year's team, if they're able to win the Super Bowl, I believe they will have the most wins in a singular season. They'll also tie the Patriots for the most consecutive playoff wins. But with the Chiefs, there's no break. So the Patriots got 10, missed the playoffs in between. The Chiefs, this is a straight consecutive 10 if they win it. So again, all these different things that just add to the lore, add to just the legend of the Chiefs. And again, I just think if they win this, we're looking at the greatest dynasty we've ever seen. And look, for Mahomes, if they win it, I won't have a problem saying he is the greatest player of all time. To me, he's already the best player I've ever seen play football. But to do a three-peat, to do something Brady hasn't done, I think that he will have a legitimate argument to greatest of all time in the NFL. And as well as, I think Andy Reid with this three-peat will have a credible argument for greatest coach of all time over Belichick. And so look, for the Chiefs, man, like they're at a level where they're competing with the past. As far as like Mahomes is going to be competing with Brady, Andy Reid's going to be competing with Belichick. The Chiefs are going to be competing with, the Patriots dynasty, the Cowboys, the Niners, the Steelers, like all those old like dynasty teams. Like that's who they're competing against. And that's what a win does for them. Now, conversely, man, the Eagles, look, no legendary status going for that. They are just trying to win. And so for the Eagles side of it, man, I really just want to hone in on Jalen Hurts. And what does a Super Bowl win mean for Jalen Hurts? And so to me, I think it's tough because I really like Jalen. I love his leadership. I love just the things he does for the team, and he wins. I've loved him since college. But also, if there is a weak link on the Eagles, it's Jalen at the quarterback position. And it's what the Chiefs and Spags, what they're great at is taking away your best thing. Now, you're not going to be able to take away Saquon. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But I think for the Eagles to win this game, Jalen's going to have to go out there and play well. That tells us that's the weak link. When they are saying, if you're going to beat us, it's going to be you. You are the weak link. And that's not to say like, you're like terrible, because if everything is an A plus and you're a B, you're the weak link. Like it's what it is. But I think everybody's holding on to this last Super Bowl that Jalen had, where he played, and look, he played incredible. He had one mistake. It did end up costing him one mistake, but from that mistake, played a perfect game. And so the only problem I have is we haven't seen that since the Super Bowl. And it's not like they haven't tried. We've seen them last year say, nope, pay Jalen. We're going to go more pass. It's going to be Jalen's show. And we saw the interception spike, and we saw them melt down at the end of the year. And so then this year they come in, Jalen throwing 30, 35 times a game. Said turnovers are high. We're 2-2. Bring it back down. Jalen's throwing 23, 25 times a game. Now we're winning. Now we're rolling. So again, to me, I think, we're always looking to put somebody in that fifth spot in the top quarterbacks. And to me, at this point, it's Jaden Daniels. I think with a Super Bowl win, with how I think they're gonna have to win by Jalen Hurts playing well, maybe he can sneak into that. But again, that's gonna be tough. Just because even as an Eagles fan who really likes Jalen, with the Super Bowl win, I don't have him at 5, maybe like 7, 6. But I would still say Jaden as far as the better quarterback. And so, now granted, a lot of people have Jalen Hurts a lot lower and not in the top 10. And so, I mean, getting up to a 5, 6, that's improvement for him. But I don't think winning the Super Bowl, whereas like if somebody like a Josh Allen won it, people would be like, oh, he might be the best quarterback in the league. Or if Lamar won it, oh, might be the best quarterback in the league. I think with a Jalen win, it's like, oh, he might be top 5 to 7 in the league. And so it's an improvement, but I don't think it's that improvement that Eagles fans or Jalen Hurts fans expected. I think that they expect him to kind of be elevated to a level that I don't think he's going to. And so, like I said, man, we're going to talk about Saquon. And so from Saquon, man, what do we expect? Do we expect a big game? Do we expect him? I'm not going to say shut down, because you don't shut down great players. You can slow them down. So do we expect a big game, or do we expect him to get slowed down? And so we'll talk about this, and then it's going to kind of some X factors, and that'll lead us into our prediction. But I would say for Saquon, as far as whether we're going to get a big game, whether he's going to get slowed down, I think this is the game where he gets slowed down. I think the Chiefs are too good at tackling. I don't think where we saw the Commanders, you saw it in the first run of the game that Saquon broke off. going for those tackles, going for the punch outs. I don't think the Chiefs are going to sacrifice getting him on the ground to go for turnovers. I think they're going to be sure. And to me, that just is a product of trusting the team, trusting the process. They've been here before. They're like, hey, we'll give them a 15, we'll give them a 20, and we'll get a stop. Or hey, they score. We're going to go back out and score, and then we're going to get a stop. And so I think where a lot of like the Commanders fell short was they were like, we need to generate some turnovers. The Chiefs are in the Super Bowl. They have 0 turnovers this postseason. I'm pretty sure that's correct. I know their turnover differential is like 0, but like they are not generating turnovers this postseason, and they're still winning. So I don't think they're going to go out there with this kind of we need to generate turnovers to get a win. So I think they're going to be sure as far as their tackling. Also, with that, look, like I said, Spags is going to take away what you do best. I think Saquon's going to see a lot of loaded boxes. You're going to see a lot of McDuffie and Watson in one-on-one on the outside. And so, to me, that just, again, it spells slow down for Saquon. And while Saquon, look, I think the stat was he had nine 50-yard plus runs this year, which is most NFL history. But he also this season was tackled for 0 or negative yardage 77 times, which is the most in the league. So while he does have the big home run capacity, he also gets stopped a lot. And so again, with the Chiefs, I think it's going to be less about going for turnovers, everything. It's just going to be more about, hey, get him on the ground. If we give him 10, 15, 20, we just got to get him on the ground, live for another day. And so do I think Saquon will still have 90, 100 yards? Sure. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. But I don't think it's going to be off of a 50-yarder and a 20-yarder. And I don't think he's going to get these monster numbers off monster runs. And if he does, look, amazing, because that is the recipe for the Eagles to win. I just don't think the Chiefs are going to allow them to. I think the looks that they're going to give are going to be beat us with the pass if you can. And so, speaking of beating them with the pass, man, look, one of the other things I really want to hone in on is Philly and our young DBs. So, Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. I think what the Chiefs are going to end up doing here is going after them early. And I can't blame them because, look, you already know rookies are going to be, more anxious, more excited, more prone to mistakes in big games like this. And so, I wouldn't be surprised if we see one of the very early few plays of the games, if the Chiefs can get one-on-one with Xavier Worthy, Hollywood on one of those rookies or on both of them, double moves, big game, big shot. Because I think that is prime time for a young DB to get caught, trying to make a big play in the Super Bowl. And so, biggest thing for them is, man, you just got it. And it's easy to say that you got to treat it just like another game because it's not, and they know it's not. But you still got to stay disciplined. And I think I think the Chiefs and Andy Reid, especially early on, that's going to be a matchup that they're going to pick on a lot. And so now look, X factors for the game, man. So I'm not going to pick people that, like X factor, Travis Kelce. No, we're not. AJ Brown. No, we're not going to do that. They're big time guys. Like they're going to do what they're going to do. So for the Eagles, now he is big time, but I'm going to go Jalen Carter, man. He is a guy who can wreck the game. He can get to Mahomes and he can wreck the game. And so Jalen Carter has a big game. That's could be a bad day for the Chiefs. It's just one of those things where, Mahomes, he's already going to be great because when you look at his stats in a dome, incredible. Against number one defense, Mahomes is incredible. He plays almost perfect football and has monster stats against number one defenses in domes, against Vic Fangio defenses, unfortunately. And so when you have a guy like a Jalen Carter who can just wreck plays, it makes it harder for a guy like Mahomes who has all these things in his favor and he's so great, makes it that much harder for him. And you're going to need that. And for the Chiefs, man, I think, honestly, I think it's DeAndre Hopkins. I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to have to, I think he is going to have a couple big catches, but I think he's going to have to for the Chiefs to win. I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to be big this game. I think this is the game that they signed him for. And so I think he has some big plays this game, some big catches. And so with that, man, Chiefs win. I think the Chiefs take this one. I think Mahomes, Andy Reid, that team just, I've been racking my brain around it. Like, how can the Eagles win? And it's by either Saquon going crazy, which I don't think they're going to allow, or Jalen going crazy, which I don't know if I believe he can more than I believe Patrick Mahomes can win a football game. And so we going Chiefs win, man. Look, it's great for me because Chiefs win. I'm right. We all get to watch a three-peat. I like Mahomes. But if I'm wrong, go Birds. But anyways, man, look, I appreciate y'all as always. Look, like, subscribe, interact with us on social media. Click the bell on YouTube to be notified of when I drop in videos. But just keep interacting, keep watching. Look, I appreciate all y'all. We got some big things coming up, got some big things in the works. So just stay tuned, and we'll see y'all next time after the Super Bowl.